If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What up, guys? Monday morning Super Bowl hangover. Super Bowl came, went, we conquered. Absolutely rolled last night. So sort of halftime show, right? Kendrick murdered a guy at halftime. But that wasn't even the closest thing to the beatdown last night. Eagles absolutely dog-walked Kansas City. Leash on Mahomes. Dragged him around the field. Kelsey was a non-factor. Andy Reid probably spent half a week eating beignets. Should have been watching game film. Jalen Hurts took Super Bowl 57 personally. What he did was borderline assault. Casey had no answers. He flicked his wrist and get six. To AJ, to Devonta, the brotherly shove. 2 first-half picks, one which ended in a pick six. Philly dominated KC. We told you they were frauds. We gave you the game script. It was a beautiful thing. Shark, of course, cashing big with his over. I cashed big on the Eagles money line. My nice little alt line parlay. Luke smashed the props market. Just absolute domination. Couldn't have went any better. I mean, where the fuck do you find anybody anywhere who gives out over 50,000 in winning tickets absolutely free to the community? Oh, and of course, we're going to have to touch base, right? You guys beat me. Beat me out of 10K. That's right. I said I would give out $1,000 Amazon gift card for every single point the Eagles won by, up to 10. Well, they definitely crushed that 10, so I'm giving away $1,000. 10 Amazon gift cards, $1,000 each. Me and Burns are going to end up going over that and figuring it out, and then we'll start commenting and contacting people to let you know who won. Always going to do exactly what I said I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. That's right. You know what? Congrats. And bottom line, fucking happy to do so. A $50,000 day, give it away 10 times. You know what? Let's do it. Luke, how did you enjoy the Super Bowl? I know it went to script. Did you see everything you wanted to see and more?
It was a fun night. I mean, after we got on the show Friday and gave them the breakdown from every prop you could think of to your game script, Sharks over. The only thing that happened to me, which was kind of course, it would have just been cherry on top, but I needed Mahomes to throw 36 pass attempts. He couldn't got there. He was down 30 points the whole game. I don't know how he didn't get there. They even brought him out for the last possession just to tease me, and he throws a bomb instead of 4 extra balls. But other than that, our free card was fun. We hit Jalen Hurts first touchdown plus 600. Hurts MVP plus 350. So just some fun plays. Got some very fun messages in the DMs with tickets. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. I was a little responsible. No hangover here. I got 2 young kids at home, so I could only sip on a couple beers. Is all I got. All I was good.
Is that a knock on me?
Oh no!
Are you throwing shade over here? I am not in great form today, guys. I can tell you that right now. I had an absolute fucking blast. About 30 people at the Super Bowl party. We ran off on a couple trolls. That was absolutely fun. A blast. Fucking hysterical. Literally tears out of my eyes. We were laughing so hard. Shark, how'd you spend your Super Bowl? And then how you going to spend that money you made?
Well, I got to be honest. I was not consuming beverages yesterday either. I was actually thinking about today's NBA card. I mean, I'm going to be that nerd. I actually was. In yesteryear, I'd still be up today partying from yesterday. But we're here. We got a huge card. I got the green shirt on the hat. This is totally unplanned. I logged onto the broadcast. I see Jay sitting here with the double down. I was like, we are right where we need to be. And, of course, that was just a glorious victory yesterday. I said it on Friday. Bang, bang, Bird gang, take them to town. And I got to say, cashing the Mahomes over prop in the passing yards market in that fashion on a 50-plus yard touchdown to Xavier Worthy in total garbage time, icing on the cake. We appreciate you guys watching the show over the weekend. Almost 100,000 views, I believe. And, of course, Jay, giving away 10K. Christmas has come. NBA starts right now because It is taking over as the number one sport in this country. I'm excited for the whole thing. Jed, let's dominate.
Christmas in February. It doesn't get any better, right? So of my 4 top plays that I gave out, so on the show, of course, we went over to 3. We had a 10-dime vault line parlay, which we all agreed on. And then, of course, I had the 5 dimes on the Eagles first half. Never threatened. And then I had 5 dimes, which was the only loser of those 4 on KC over 23.5, which I did tell you guys on the show. It's kind of a hedge towards everything else I was doing. But listen, truth be told, they get that other 2-point conversion. That smashes too. So I'm never going to cry about 50,000 made. Well, I'll say 40,000 because 10,000, of course, goes back to the community. Love to fucking do it. But Shark's right. It's time for NBA. I'm going to labor through it. Head hurting. Pounded. It's all right. All good. Gotta fucking love it. Ding dong. The Chiefs are fucking dead. KC no more. Taylor Swift. What did you show it once last night? Thank God for small favors. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get right into the NBA. First game up, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling to Cleveland. They're gonna take on the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are laying 9. The total here is at 228.5. So Conley and Ant are both GTD. Cavs won 6 of their last 7. 14-3 straight up, its last 17 at home. The 2 teams have met once this season. Cleveland, of course, won that game 124-117. That game was in Minnesota, covering as a 5-point chalk. T-Wolves 8-2 straight up in their last 10. Covered each of their last 3, winning each game by double digits. Minnesota's had a little bit of success here and there against Cleveland. Wolves 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread last 10. But this is a different Cleveland Cavaliers team. Shark, do you see the Wolves continuing that success, or is this a Cleveland spot?
I think it's a Cleveland spot, but I think it is very dependent on what you said. Will Anthony Edwards play tonight? Luke and I were talking about this before we got on the show. This is a very interesting week. This is pre-All-Star break. And, of course, these guys have been trying to figure out a way not to play. It seems like every day throughout the whole season. Now they got a little vacation coming up. So we're going to be very careful trying to figure out what's going on. But I will say this. If Edwards doesn't play tonight, we love Jaden McDaniels in the points over market. Only 2 games this year Edwards has missed. The guy is a gamer. We got to give him a lot of credit for showing up almost every night this year. But 2 games recently, Washington at Minnesota, February the 1st. McDaniels, 40 minutes played, 23 points. And Saturday night, 37 minutes, 30 points. And the last time these teams played, you mentioned it, Cleveland got them in Minnesota. Chalk special there. McDaniels only scored 13, but he was very efficient shooting the ball, 6 for 9 from the field. This line is higher than that at 14.5. Stay tuned with us. I will be posting this in the Telegram later if Edwards doesn't play. We love Jaden McDaniels in the over points market tonight.
Irish King 97. I don't have a problem with the Cavaliers first quarter and the first half. However, you know what? You kind of got to wait to see on Anthony Edwards, because if he's out, that line's going to fucking balloon and probably get out of whack and become unbettable. And if he's in, you may catch a little bit of a better number. So again, much like every game on the card tonight, it's going to be a wait and see. Luke, is there anybody that you're targeting in this game?
So I'll just compound on what Shark said. I actually like McDaniels so much, even if Edwards does play, that I'm going to be honest with the community here. I have it on my VIP card, regardless of if Edwards plays or not. Look at what he's done in February. It's unbelievable. He's averaging 15 shot attempts per game. That's 6 above his season average. That's with Ant-Man in the lineup. Imagine if he's not there. McDaniel's probably going to get 20 shot attempts. I mean, it's great value. And the only other thing I'd point to in this game, and I usually, side with you guys on this, but I actually see value in the under in the game as a whole. It's at like 230.5. Right now, there's value if Edwards sits. He's, of course, their juggernaut scoring the ball. But the prop market, other than like this McDaniels play we show and like one other role player, it's unders. It's value on the under for everybody. When I see that, I like a lean on the game under if you're looking for another play.
Shark, Nathan Grassi saying that you look like you're wearing a foam finger on your head.
I own multiple Eagles hats. I got to say, I like the throwback hats. So I got a bunch. I got the flat brim. I got a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'll say it again. Bang, bang, bird gang. Let's fucking go.
Sharks hat collection is pretty legit. You'll have to start breaking it out for NBA.
I actually like the over in this spot. The Cavs, second in the NBA in scoring, averaging just over 122 a game. 6 of their last 9 games have gone over. Minnesota doesn't score nearly as much, but Minnesota scored over 120 points in 4 of their last 7 games. The over's 5-2 in those 7 games. So if I was going to play this game at all, and of course, you have to wait on the news and the injury report, but I could only look to the over in this game. So we're going to move on to the next game. We have everybody hates Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks traveling to Orlando. They're going to take on the Magic. Magic laying 5.5. The total here is at 221.5. Not a lot of line movement on this game so far. Magic lost 5 of 6 on a recent road trip. Started their pre-All-Star homestand with the win, of course, beating San Antonio on Saturday. Magic are now 16-9 at home. Atlanta played back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. They did win both of those games. They cashed for us in a nice little money line parlay. They beat Milwaukee on Friday, then took care of Washington on Saturday. Hawks have now won 3 of their last 4. And don't get too excited, though. Those are the Hawks. These are the Hawks. And it's the Hawks' only 3 wins in their last 12 games. Shark, make this one make sense.
Yeah, I just dropped this in my Telegram. My top play, I'm giving it to you guys free today. We're feeling great vibes after the Super Bowl. Orlando -5 or -5.5. And, we said this last week and the week before. Orlando is one of the best buy teams in the sport. This team went 7 games in the playoffs last year with Cleveland, couldn't get through, have just been scarred by injuries across the board. And you said it, they're a great home team, but they're also a great buy low at home. Started 11-3 ATS at the Kia Center, only 3-8 last 11. Such a great buy low here. And Atlanta's just too hot. They're 7-1 ATS last 8. You said it. They just played a back-to-back, and they have a significant playing at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night to close the first half. And Knicks fans know this. Hawks fans know this. Basketball fans know this. Trae Young is this generation's Reggie Miller. He loves to play in New York, trash talk the fans, and take them to the house. J.A. disagrees, but J.A., what other assassin goes into the Garden on a regular basis, beats the Knicks, and talks trash? I don't make this stuff up. But final point on this. The Magic were 3-1.
Trae Young is not Reggie Miller. And this NBA is not that NBA either. But Trae Young is absolutely, come on, bro. That's disrespecting Reggie Miller. It's literally just fucking brutal disrespect towards Reggie Miller. Anyway, you have any further thoughts on this? I can't. Good.
No, of course, I'm not literally saying that Reggie Miller from UCLA here taking Trae Young, but no, it's just a guy that goes into the Garden. He's a sharpshooter. And he trash talks the fans. But anyway, final point on this division game here in the Southeast. First matchup of the year. They're playing 4 times in the next 2 months. So we're gonna get a lot of data. But going back to last year, Orlando was actually 3-1 ATS versus Atlanta. Very interesting point, however, underdog all 4. So we talk about the line every time. Books moving this heavily towards Orlando. Great buy spot. Having to win the game by 8 to 10 points tonight. Take Orlando at -5.5. Let's cash.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. The one thing about Reggie Miller, though, the dude was the leader, right? The dude did everything right on the court, did everything right in the locker room. The man was a leader. And I was a Heat fan growing up, so it didn't make a difference to me. And you were a Knicks fan, I know that. So obviously Reggie Miller sticks out a little bit. The six points in 3 seconds. One of the greatest things I've ever watched in NBA basketball. Luke, do you have anybody you're targeting in this game?
I do. If you didn't see, I was doing the Reggie Miller choke because it's one of my favorite images ever. And yeah, the only thing my only other, since you brought it up, basketball moment for the points scored in a time frame is Tracy McGrady. If you remember his, it was 11 points in 50 seconds or something ridiculous. Anyways, player I'm targeting in this game, I wrote this up overnight, so it's not as valuable now with the injury report. I wrote it up with Trae Young, listed as doubtful. He's now probable, but I like this play regardless. It's a niche play. For those of you that don't know the name Vit Krejci, or Vit, I think tough pronunciation on some of these, but Krejci's a role player for Atlanta. His PRA line, or points, rebounds, assist combo, is at 13.5. He's in his 4th NBA season out of the Czech Republic, and he's become a solid role player. He's been playing super well lately. Of course, it's against a tough Magic team, but they haven't looked great, lately. Krejci's playing 31-plus minutes last 2 games. He's put up 25 PRA, 27 PRA. I mean, that's double this line, literally. And Atlanta doesn't have 2 of its top 3 scorers of the season. So, yeah, Trae Young's playing, but someone else has to get the job done. Krejci's been rebounding well. He's a good unselfish player. So I'm going over 13.5 PRA for Krejci tonight.
My take on this is Atlanta has actually had Orlando's number. Hawks are 12-3 in the last 15 against the Magic. But Atlanta, of course, is just 1-6 against the spread in the last 7. Orlando continues to play defense, ranked 2nd in the NBA, points allowed. Magic trend towards the under. 32 of their 54 games this season have all gone under 15-10 in the Magic home games. I'm going to lean under as well in this one. I'm not in love with the spread. I do think the Orlando Magic get there. They have been playing better, at least in 2 of the last 3. But you guys know Orlando Solby, big time. Banchero, absolute dog shit performance. Tore up a ticket for me. And I don't even know that I've ever gotten over that one yet. It might take a little while. And still, no Suggs. Suggs isn't going to play tonight. Trae Young, I only seen as probable at the first injury report that I saw. So I do expect Trae Young going tonight, and Suggs, of course, being out. It would be under or nothing for me, but it's probably going to be nothing. We're moving on to San Antonio taking on Washington. Well, San Antonio heads to Washington to take on the Wizards. Spurs are laying big number here on the road. Spurs laying 11.5. Total at 236.5. Washington 3-17 straight up its last 20 fucking games. 9 straight at home. Traded away Kuzma. Washington's not going to have Saw tonight. Newly acquired Middleton. He's going to remain out. Spurs just 1-4 straight up in their last 5. Defense is taking a step back, but this does feel like a get-right spot. Luke, is there anybody to target in this game?
I think there's 2 guys, and actually Shark and I have talked about this game earlier this morning, so I'd love his feedback on this as well. Before I jump in, I just want to comment on H-Town Legend 78 in the comments. Asked about Darius Garland. It was just 2 games ago, but over 3-pointers. I have him projected for 2.8 3-pointers, so you get decent value on the over. My only hesitation with recommending that play is Minnesota ranks 3rd in the NBA at opponent 3-pointers per game. So that's why it's not a great play, but I would lean over if anything. Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of that defense has actually gone down or given in a little bit since Suggs has been out, because Suggs was one of the main catalysts in that role, right? So
I was talking about Minnesota. So
my fault. I'm sorry.
But still, they haven't. I don't know. I think it's a little bit inflated, their defensive numbers too, to be honest. But so it's not an official play. If you're going to take it, I don't mind the over. Back to this game, though, I love 2 players. I think, one, I don't know how the heck Washington's going to stop Wemby. Wemby's not been playing great in terms of shooting efficiency, but who do they have to stop him? There's no Sarr. There's no Valanciunas. He got traded. They have Rashawn Holmes, 31-year-old veteran, playing in the middle. He's only 6'9". I just don't know how anyone stops Wemby tonight. So I like his over on PRA, points, anything. And then the name I just dropped, and this I'll let Shark allude to this one a little bit more, but Rashawn Holmes, his lines are wildly listed tonight with juicing with line functionality. He averages 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on the year. That's like 11 PRA. His line tonight, 20.5, almost doubled. His points line is almost doubled. The books are telling us look for Rashawn Holmes to be more productive as really the only big man in their lineup. Should be a lot of points in this game. No defense for Washington. Holmes probably gets there on a couple of these lines. So I would lean there. Wemby over, Holmes over. Shark, what do you have?
Yeah, I have 2 VIP plays in this game. I'll talk to you guys about one. And, Luke and I were talking about it before, but, it's the chalk special. It's Victor Wembanyama, the professional chess player from Central Park. He's in Washington tonight, and you find a great buy low on this guy. This guy's coming off of 2 unders versus this number. Charlotte game, he was absolutely horrendous from the three-point line. 1 for 9 from 3. He wasn't much better on Saturday night at Orlando. 1 for 6 from 3. But as Jay was just saying, that's Orlando. They play suffocating defense. Washington is the polar opposite. They're young, they're top 5 pace, and they're 30th defensive rating. And the last time Wemby played Washington, he had the best game of his career, 50 points. He's been terrible for a couple games. It's going to be wide open. The game total is projected to be an over as well. This is getting steamed out the ass in the market. We got it earlier at 24.5. I'm dropping it as a free play. We're feeling great vibes today. Wemby is going to bust out of his slump with emphasis tonight. Take the over in the points market for Victor.
Now, there's only one play in this that I would even look to, and it'd probably be on early play on San Antonio. Maybe first quarter, first half. I would have to look at the numbers and see what I like. I'm not going to lay double digits because, as what you saw with Washington against OKC, they do leave the back door. You know, the back door is always going to be open. And listen, you know, Washington is playing with a little bit of oomph, right? Like, they're out there trying. They're not just you know, setting it in. These guys who are on the court are guys who are trying to make rosters. So they're going to put up the effort. Now, they're just not any good, but they're trying to make rosters. If not in Washington, somewhere else, so they are playing for contracts. So to think, or the narrative that, you know, a team is tanking. Well, the only way a team can actually tank is by the bodies that coaches putting in there and putting certain rotations that just don't mesh well. But the players on the court are absolutely not tanking. So, you know, they're going to be out there in 11 points with a team that really hasn't proved anything since the trade. You know, you would hope to see Fox come into form, but there's an adjustment period. He has to learn how to play with Wemby. I mean, this is the first true big man that Fox has played with in his entire career. So it's still a wait and see for me. You know what? But they both gave you 2 props. So there you go. You know, attack the prop market, make some money there. We're going to move on to an absolute banger tonight. We have Charlotte heading to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. The Nets are laying 4. The total here is at 212.5. Total has dropped dramatically. It went from 216.5 to 212.5. That's a 4-point swing. Brooklyn decided to keep Cam Johnson. Best stretch of the season for this team so far. They're 4-1 straight up and against the spread their last 5. The Nets defense has been outstanding and actually really fucking good. In their 4 wins, they didn't give up a hundo. Hornets 2-9 straight up in their last 11. One of the worst offenses in the league right now, averaging 107 points per game. That's 28th in the NBA. Shark, does that defensive powerhouse in Brooklyn stand tonight? Do you see maybe a Charlotte team total under, a full game under? Who do you like? Why do you like it?
It's a tough game. As you said, it's a banger. Little satire there, a little sarcasm here on this Monday. This game is definitely not a world championship game here, but it is a rematch of a game played on January 29th in Charlotte. Brooklyn blew out Charlotte 104-83, and this line is all over Brooklyn again. Books like Brooklyn, I would have to lean towards Brooklyn to win this game, somewhere around 8 points. My only hesitation is Charlotte has been bizarrely good on the second leg of back-to-backs. They did play yesterday in the middle of the afternoon in Detroit, backdoored the spread, down about 25 points early, somehow covered plus 12.5. They have shown the ability to be scrappy.
You said they played yesterday, but Shark, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it really fall?
Now I know that you were drinking for Super Bowl Sunday and we're getting like existential. This is why you guys tune in to NBA Player Performance. You never know what's going to happen on a Monday. But I don't know if there's any trees in Brooklyn. Are there any trees in Brooklyn?
Yeah, no, they have a couple. I mean, the gardens are there. Yeah, well, so if a tree grows in Brooklyn, does it really grow in Brooklyn? Matter of fact, I used to get all of my trees in Brooklyn. I don't know what you're talking about. I actually only used to get my trees in Brooklyn. We used to hop on the BQE, head over to Greenpoint, and that's where we hit the rosters, bro. All of our trees came from Brooklyn.
God, you guys, this is too good. You
I'm
can't
sorry,
can't
go
find
ahead.
this.
Who do you like in this game? Who do you
Oh, was
like?
that for me? No, I think Brooklyn's the side. Brooklyn's the side if you guys want a free play. Minus 3.5 or 4.
All right, Luke.
I'll actually kind of correlate with that. You could almost go same game parlay here with this prop I'm going to give. I actually dished out a couple free NBA props yesterday prior to the Super Bowl. One was Miles Bridges under his point total, and he was under until the last minute, where for some reason they were down like 18 and they started trying. It made no sense why he backdoored his prop and they backdoored their spread. I'm actually fading him again tonight. I am never chasing a prop line, but it's such a value play here. His line was at 24.5. I got it at that. I think now it's at 23.5. But LaMelo is off the injury report. He's going to take a lot more shots away from Bridges. And this Nets defense they're kind of tough. They're not a bad defense. They're playing all right. So same game sprinkle, maybe Brooklyn minus 3.5, Bridges under 23 or 24.5 points. That's where I'd lean.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I mean, they did meet twice so far. Brooklyn won both of those games, held the Hornets to just 83 points last game in Charlotte. I see more of the same. It would be the Nets or nothing, but I'm probably passing on this game. Shark has a little bit of promo going here tonight. This is the last day, your absolute last opportunity to get 1 month of all of Shark's picks for just $100. This is the absolute last time you can do that. Today, that's it. Magic Monday. All of Shark's selections, all of his top-rated plays, the games he's getting to the window with himself. 1 month, $100. And here it is. So that's right, guys. Link in the description below. We'll also drop one in the comments. 1 month, everything Shark has for $100. Today's the last day of doing that. And we're moving on here to what I feel is going to be the game of the night, because I'll be there in person after I sweat this shit out. We have Boston headed to Miami. They're going to take on my Miami Heat. Celtics are laying 6. The total here at 219. Holiday out. Tatum and Brown are both questionable. Boston opened up as a 7-point favorite. That has come down. The total is also down from 223.5. Boston, obviously the best road team in the NBA, 21-6 straight up. They just beat the Cavs and the Knicks. Peyton Pritchard, 20+ in both of those games. Cornette, 14 points, 12 rebounds. He started in place of Porzingis. Porzingis was an actual late scratch on Saturday over the Knicks. We did cash the Celtics 2 ways. We had their team total over, and we had them laying the 3. Easy cover there. Should be ready to go tonight. Doesn't seem to matter much, though. Miami, 2-3 straight up, 1-4 against the spread last 5. More importantly, Heat do struggle when playing Boston. Heat have lost 8 of the last 9, 6 straight at home. So how much does the Tatum and Brown news really mean when you have Peyton Pritchard coming in and just running around like a big ball of fucking energy and just lighting it up from everywhere, Luke?
I couldn't agree more that he's wildly impactful in the games where he really goes off. It's pretty impressive, to be honest, considering he was barely considered to be an NBA player out of Oregon for a while. So my play here is actually pretty strong. I don't know if you guys have any updated word on Brown or Tatum. It sounds like they might not play if they didn't show up to shoot around. If they're out, holy cow, sign me up for Derek White and Porzingis, both of their totals for points. Because where are the shot attempts going to come from? I mean, Porzingis gets enough shot attempts as is. He's shot 20. He had put up 20 shot attempts recently with them playing. And Derek White is on fire lately, so he's not afraid to shoot the 3 probably 15 times. So honestly, if neither of them play, I would lean Derek White and Porzingis both in the points market over. Again, you want to wait and see the injury report before laying those lines, but My numbers show me that they're not playing because both those guys are projected for over their season totals, which is why I love the functionality on it.
See, this is where a guy like Luke has a true advantage over guys like Shark and I, although Shark does dabble a little bit more in the prop market than I do. I'm mainly, a sides and totals guy, where one door closes, another one opens when it comes to these guys being out, but you're still waiting around for the injury report. I see Brown and Tatum both as true questionables. So they're both game time decisions tonight. There's no indication of whether or not they're playing or not playing. Shark, you have a look in this game?
Tough game. And I was looking up in the chat. Our guy Collective Thoughts says we are approaching All-Star Week. Do you consider that? Actually, we opened the show talking about that, but I'll bring it back up. Absolutely. And this game is a perfect example of it because we really have a lot of roster movement tonight. It's not only the Celtics, but Jaime Jaquez is out tonight. Tyler Hero is now questionable. It's just a bad spot for both teams. Jay, as you said, obviously Boston coming off of a huge win at New York, kind of a look ahead too. They closed the first half on Wednesday night at home, national game against the Spurs and Wembanyama. I'm not sure how much of a look ahead that is. Obviously, it's not an in-conference rivalry game, but I still think the look ahead element is there. But this is even worse of a spot for Miami. Miami's coming off of a 4-game trip. They got to play one home game against Boston and go right back on the road to finish the first half at Oklahoma City Wednesday, at Dallas on Thursday. I was looking at their calendar. It's kind of crazy. I'm not entirely sure why the league schedules it like this. This might be the worst calendar spot of the entire first half for Miami. And this is why Boston is still hanging a -6, even with this roster movement. I would have to look to Boston for that specific point. Terrible spot for Miami tonight.
Yeah, this is a total wait and see for me. I mean, Tatum and Brown ruled in. This is probably a Celtic spot. I mean, they have owned and controlled Miami, especially in Miami. Maybe a Celtics team total. Boston 5-1 straight up ATS. Last 6 against the Heat. That's 5-1 straight up, and ATS last 6 against the Heat. Includes the one meeting that they won this season. Boston did win that game by almost 20, 108-89. That game was in Boston, but it doesn't really matter. The Heat are going to unveil their new lineup tonight. So Wiggins is expected to play. Mitchell's expected to play. Kyle Anderson all expected to play. They're at least expected to contribute tonight, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make it over to watch this game. I wanted to see what the new lineup is going to look like. But bear in mind, if these guys are in, there's probably going to be, a minutes restriction to some sort. And Wiggins hadn't played basketball in quite some time, even when he was with Golden State. So it's a complete wait and see. Yeah, obviously, you know what? My expectation is that you're either going to get Tatum or Brown in, right? It's very seldom do the Boston Celtics rest both of them in a night. But, as you was just talking about, Shark, it's really hard to determine on the seriousness or how up they're going to get for a game against San Antonio, being an out-of-conference game. I would assume that this game would matter much more, being a conference game over a team that, you have had some troubles with in the past. And this one, to me, would matter more. And I will say this to Peasy. Yes, it might Heat tonight, plus the 6.5, if both are ruled out. I would get to Celtics team total as long as I'm getting one of them in, because Miami has not really been playing the defense. They've actually been playing with more pace as of late and getting up a lot more shots. They just haven't always been incredibly efficient. So I would either look to the Heat plus the points, or I would look for a Celtic team total. Gotta love those Celtic team totals. They're just fucking straight money train. And it doesn't matter. They could be sitting at 45, 50 at halftime, and then all of a sudden just fucking bombs away, put up 50 points in the third. It's the one team with a team total that you're never truly out of it. Oh, you did know last week we did cash big on the Celtics team total under, but that was just a spot. So we're going to move on. The Golden State Warriors heading to Milwaukee. Luke's Milwaukee Bucks. Warriors are laying 6. The total here is at 231.5. Giannis not playing through the All-Star break. He's going to be ruled out. Is that line actually right? Aren't the Bucks laying tonight? I think that line's flipped. I think the Bucks are actually laying 6. I could be wrong about that. The Bucks should be laying 6, laying the points at home, because it's Giannis and Curry's on the list as well. Outside of that, the total here is at 231.5. It's Warriors.
Yeah.
I would take the Bucks at home plus the points. I don't give a fuck if Jimmy Butler plays for them or not. Giannis not playing through the All-Star break. Bucks played yesterday, beating Philly. But again, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, did it really fall? Beating Philly 135 to 127. Lillard season high 43 points. Now, do you fade Lillard off of his season high? Golden State has been inconsistent at best. They did beat the Bulls on Saturday. We did have them in a money line parlay that did cash. The debut of Jimmy, they started slow, but they went from like down 20 to up 20 in what seemed like 12 minutes. Prior to that, Warriors gave up 120 and 132 in back-to-back games. That was against the Lakers and Jazz. Both of those games were on the road. Both of those games were road losses. Warriors 4-1 against the spread last 5 against the Bucks, but 1-4 straight up in their last 5 against the Bucks in Milwaukee. You know, this one's a little hard for me, especially not knowing the pieces and if Curry's going to play or not. Luke, how do you lean in this one?
This is a tough game. This is actually one of the ones I had circled as the hardest game to predict in the prop market. It's just so tough with the Giannis situation. I think he's sitting out, for
now
load management.
Everything I said, which is the way I lean, because now Damon is also a Q tag. So you're gonna have to wait to see on that. You have to wait to see on Curry. But right. Jimmy Butler will play. Who cares? Fuck Jimmy. All right, continue. Carry on.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Is I have no idea who's playing. I have no idea where the value is, which is why my one lean here, which I'm actually pretty strong on the lean. Someone actually brought his name up earlier in the chat. I was going to say something, but Quentin Post for the Warriors. He is stealing all of Trace Jackson Davis's playing time, and he's doing it pretty confidently and doing it well. Last game out, 18 points, 4 of 7 from 3, 7 of 10 shooting. He's playing well, and why I love his over in the points market is there's some functionality there. They put his line above his season average, 8.5 points. And the one thing that the Bucks big guys cannot do, Brook Lopez does not get out on the 3. He sags. That's what he does. He rim protects. I love Quentin Post to knock down a couple threes. He might cover this line with just 3-pointers tonight. So my lean is Quentin Post of the Warriors over 8.5 points. You can always find a value in the prop game.
Yeah, Post came in like with quite a bit of upside, then kind of disappeared. Then he came back in, and all of a sudden he's getting high usage, and he is playing well. Shark, do you have a pick in this game?
Tough game. It's the same conversation. We don't know who's playing. Obviously, second game for Jimmy Butler here with the Warriors. You said it, Saturday night, they were down 14 at the half, came out and blew out Chicago 77-42 in the second half. So immediate explosion here with this team. Truthfully, I would lean towards the Warriors. This is a terrible spot for the Bucks. 3rd and 4, home back-to-back. Did play Super Bowl Sunday, beat Philadelphia yesterday by 8. Highly impressive performance. If Lillard sits out and Steph is in, this line is going to get up to -10. If you can get this at -6.5 now, that would be my lean in the game. And final point on this, if you actually go through Milwaukee since Giannis got hurt, going back about a week and a half, they're just flip-flopping covers and non-covers. It literally is just win, loss, win, loss, win. That's it. So they won yesterday. They're in a fatigue spot. Dubs are going to have some motivation here with Jimmy Butler. I think it's a jolt more than anything. I think they're going to turn up their quality to a higher level. I would lean towards Golden State here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. With Dame in, Curry out, Curry in, Dame out, I still think I get Milwaukee here. Kuzma's still going to be make up the offensive usage, right? So Milwaukee's still going to put up a big number because the Warriors aren't stopping anybody. So I can still think Milwaukee would put up a big enough number to stay within 6. And you're right, that number probably does steam up if Dame is out and Curry's ruled in. Luke, you going to say something?
Yeah, sorry. The only thing I was going to comment on, because I do watch a lot of these games, it's going to be pure variance on the 3-point shooting. The Bucks without Giannis just chuck threes. I mean, they have Gary Trent, Kuzma, AJ Green, these guys just chuck 3-pointers. So it's really going to be a highly volatile game that way. So I honestly I see both of your guys' points here. I'm not touching the spread is my point.
Yeah, Kennedy, that 109.5 actually, you know what? It's looking kind of fat right now. I don't think I mind a Celtics team total with the pace in which the Heat have been playing. More so the Heat than even the Celtics, right? the Celtics are going to be able to put up points whether Brown and Tatum play or not. So I'll do a little bit more of a deep dive, and maybe I'll post something back in the comments after I do. I just want to run some projections with and without Tatum in, because I don't think I've had a spot really all season where both sat. So I mean, Peyton Pritchard's more than capable, but the third piece here is, don't forget, Drew's out. So that does play into this as well. So you're playing without a couple of pieces. All right, I'm moving on. We have New Orleans headed to OKC. They're going to take on the Thunder. Thunder laying a big number here, 15.5. Total at 234.5. The total dropped 4.5 points. That's all steam. There's nothing else on this because the injury report isn't even that ugly tonight. OKC has won 5 straight, covered in 4 of those. Thunder are 13-1 straight up last 14 home games. The Pelicans are just fucking awful. 0-8 straight up last 8, 2-6-1 against the spread their last 9. They also just hosted the Super Bowl. That's right. Super Bowl parties in your home fucking town. Come on. Shark, little hangover here?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I mean, you see Zion last game. He kept them in the game at Sacramento. He scored 40 points. Zion just gets so much shade from everybody. I mean, like, it's actually kind of, or in my opinion, because the guy has been honestly elite at all points when he's been on the court in his career. This game is just tough. I mean, this is the 3rd time these teams are playing this year, and the Pelicans have put a completely different line every single time. The first time they played, Zion did not play. Neither did McCollum or DeJounte Murray. It was just Brandon Ingram. Second one, you had Ingram, CJ, and Murray. Now Murray's done for the year. McCollum is questionable, and Ingram's traded. So you get a totally different group. There's no real data for this. This is your classic OKC blowout line. But with OKC, it's kind of like Luke said with the Bucks and their backups. OKC can blow anybody out by 35 if they want to. It's just a matter of if they're going to keep on pushing in the 4th quarter. Super tough game. I wish I could give you guys something on this, but when teams change their roster every single time, we're just flipping coins here.
And wealth content, yeah, listen, okay, so it's all relative, isn't it? It really kind of depends on what this number gets to. They didn't start off that game looking so good, and that was against the Chicago Bullshits. They were down by 20 in the first half of that game. So if you're giving me 8.5, with a team still more than capable of filling the hole, yeah, I might be inclined to sprinkle a little bit on that, because I still think that the Bucks have enough firepower to put up a decent sized number against a Warrior team that doesn't really play a ton of defense. I get it. And also another thing you have to remember with the implement of Jimmy Butler, the offense now for Golden State is going to start to slow down, which means lower scoring games. Well, if you're telling me that I have Kuzma, I have Portis probably getting heavy minutes, and I still have Lopez in there, you know what? Yeah, I mean, they may be in play for that entire game to catch that 8.5, 9, which is probably what it's projected to be if Dame sits and Curry plays. But it's all relative to who's in and who's not. Luke, as far as this game goes, is there somebody you're targeting?
Yeah, so I actually wrote up an official free play in this Thunder game, and the line has moved substantially. So a quick breakdown why I actually would still take it at the current line. But I'm all over Isaiah Hartenstein, the Thunder center, to go under 4.5 assists. His line opened at 4.5. I crushed that this morning, sent it out, moved down to 3.5. 3.5 is sitting at plus. It was like plus 115. I would actually still take under 3.5 at plus money, and here's why. Hartenstein's awesome. He's been a great big man for this Thunder team without Chet Holmgren for most of the year. He's on a career high 4.2 assists per game, which is wild as a center, doing what he does. But there's a lot of reasons to fade him tonight. Like, first, they're playing the Pelicans. This could be a blowout early, as we mentioned, depending on the Super Bowl hangover effect. He's also now playing with a healthy Chet Holmgren, who demands a much higher usage rate than a lot of the backups have for most of the season. So I just see Hartenstein's numbers now going down in terms of his points and assists moving forward. Doesn't mean he won't play. Doesn't mean he's going to, be less important. Just his numbers are going to be down. He's going to be more focused in the pick and roll game. And he's gone under this in 4 straight games. I see it cashing again. So official line is under 4.5 assists. I'm comfortable with you guys betting it at under 3.5.
All right, now for me, I'm going to lay it or pass. Pels haven't won on the road since January 14th. Lost 8 straight to the Thunder. OKC 5-0 against the spread, last 5 against New Orleans, 2-0 this season. Pelicans have won 4 road games the entire season. They're 8-18 against the spread on the road, 4-15 against the spread their last 19 games. And this is against the top 10 defense. They don't score, they don't win, they can't get stops, ranked 27th in scoring defense, 119 points per game. OKC has the best defense in the NBA. They're also 4th in scoring. Give me the Thunder here. Give them to me big. I may go triple crown on this. First quarter, first half, full game. Fuck it. This is a Thunder spot. I can only get to the Thunder. Shark, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, just in terms of the Super Bowl hangover dynamic here, I'm just looking at the calendar here for the Pelicans. I don't think they were even in New Orleans yesterday because this is the 4th game of a road trip. Denver, Sacramento, OKC. It's highly unlikely in a one-night back end of a trip they flew home to fly back to Oklahoma City. So I don't think there's any hangover effect. I don't think they were in town yesterday. But I will agree with you. This is a terrible spot. They had to play 2 games at altitude in Denver and then Sacramento, and now you end up in Oklahoma City, the best team in the league. It's a blowout line. I wouldn't disagree with you there.
Yeah, and that second game in Denver, they were done. Like, they were fucking cooked. They were a little competitive in the first one, still lost by 10. But in that second game, they were cooked. And don't forget with the injuries, it's not so much that your star players aren't playing. It's not so much that DeJounte Murray not playing. It's more so the fact that when you're starters or guys who get high minutes and the big usage guys are out, your bench shrinkens, which means more usage for the rest of the team or for the guys like Zion, who's just not accustomed to getting all these fucking minutes. And so, you know what? These are just bad spots, and you have to really mark these spots out on the calendar. And these are the opportunities to make money. But I see something like this, I'm going to pounce. I'm definitely doing something first quarter, first half, and full game. All right, we're going to move on. Sacramento heading to Dallas. The Kings come in. They take on the new look Mavericks. Mavericks are laying 1 total here at 237.5. Now, this line has been hovering around the 1. The total is up from 235. Anthony Davis is going to obviously sit out tonight. What a shit show, right? He was absolutely fucking dominating in his Mavericks debut. 26 points, 16 boards, 7 assists. Then he aggravated his back. That's why he's going to be out tonight. The Mavs won their last 2 games, beating Boston and Houston. Dallas has covered each of the last 3. 4-1 against the spread their last 5. Kings are just 2-4 straight up, 1-5 against the spread their last 6. Still adjusting to life after Fox did cash for me in a big way on Saturday. I had them in the front end of 2 money line parlays. We cashed on both of those. Luke, who are you targeting in this game?
I was just going to comment on your big Kings call the other night because that was awesome for 2 big 100-star winners. But in this game, so you got to know when to sit out. This is a game I'm not going to force in the prop market. There's so many unknown variables with this Mavericks roster, and the numbers are showing me under on every single Mavs player besides a couple of the backups, which means this could be a blowout. Excuse me. And the Kings actually don't show a lot of favorable overs as well, which means my lean, if I had to pick anything, would actually be the game under 236.5. You and Shark may disagree with that. I have no official props in this game, so I'm moving on. There's bigger.
You're saying game under. NBA Big Shot wants to know OKC team total. Give me a number on that OKC team total, and I'll circle back after Shark gives me who he likes in this game.
Yeah, this particular game, I think is probably a Sacramento spot. If you really look at what's going on here, I mean, Luke drew it up. This Dallas team right now, it couldn't go any worse. You trade Luka, you get a ton of backlash, highly controversial trade. Anthony Davis comes over and immediately gets hurt. And Kennedy in the chat is right. AD's out a month, I believe. So this is like really disastrous. And Sacramento, I think, is a buy low. They're 2-8 ATS last 10. Of course, they're trying to figure out Zach LaVine with this group. But I think really when it comes down to it, this is a Sacramento spot. And, on that total, Luke, I do have this to be pretty close. I think you're going to see a lot of points here. When these teams played back in December, it was actually Doug Christie's first game coaching the Kings. The Kings came out terribly in the first quarter, and they did backdoor and cover a -7.5, 110-100. This line is leaning towards Dallas. I don't think that means anything in this matchup, though. I think the dynamic here is absolutely on Sacramento tonight.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. For me, it's going to be a hard pass, but I actually would fade the Kings in this spot. Look, they suck against the number, 2-6 against the spread last 8 road games, 10-14-1 against the spread on the road this season, second worst against ATS record in the NBA, 18-30-4. I wouldn't be able to get there with the Kings until I see some continuity and flow in that offense. But I can't get to Dallas either. I mean, especially, but they have been the better, more consistent of the two teams in their current forms. I'm seeing an OKC team total right now at 125. I don't know, man. That's just a big fucking number in what's a blowout spot. But I will tell you the one thing about the Thunder is they don't seem to play with their food, especially not of late. When they get out on teams, they just keep fucking gunning for them. Next thing you know, they went from 115 to 140 in the blink of an eye. But I mean, it would still be a little bit too big of a number for me to get to. I may look to the first half because you're going to get a team's best effort in the first half. You break that in half, and you're probably going to see like a 61.5, maybe on an alt line for a first half, and that would be a more favorable number for me because I know I'm going to get all 24 first half minutes, right? I don't know if I'm going to get a full game because you got blowout potential here. Both of you guys gave your leans on the Kings Mavs, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on, my top play today. Portland heads to Denver to take on the Nuggets. The Nuggets 9.5, total 233.5. Nuggets right where we want them. The total's up from 231.5. Nuggets host the Trailblazers. This is a back-to-back, same gym, back-to-back tonight, and then they play again on Wednesday. A couple weeks ago, these games would have appeared to be almost automatic for Denver, but not as of late. Portland has now won 10 of its last 12. They're 11-1 against the spread in those 12 games. Shark, does that run continue for Portland?
Well, I had Portland on Saturday night, and Anthony Edwards sat out, and all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they got obliterated in Minnesota, 38-14. Yeah, out of nowhere. They had a huge lead, just complete, utter melt. I was totally unenthused by it. But here's where I do think, unfortunately, when a team is so clean against the spread, 11-0, when that happens, it's not necessarily supposed to bounce back their direction just immediately. I think it pulls the other direction towards more of a 500 average, not 100% cover rate. And as you said, Denver, or you didn't say it now, but you've said this numerous times over the weeks here, Denver's a home team. They're a bye team at home. They're terrible on the road. They are 11-4 last 15 at home at Ball Arena. I honestly think the game could be tight. You saw this a couple times recently in conference home games for Denver, right on the number. I have this on the number, but I do think Denver probably does get there by 10 to 12 points here.
Yeah, Kennedy, I would say for me, I'll probably press the button on that 62.5. I can definitely get there. OKC first half over 62.5. You're obviously going to get them to play full 24 minutes. But you do have to kind of watch out. It is a big number, but it's a big number against a team that plays no defense. So, yeah, I'll probably push the button on that one. Luke, do you have anybody you're targeting in this game?
I have a really strong lean here. I absolutely love the line that they're giving us on Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets and his assist line. So right now it's at 3.5. Smack the under. I think the under's now, it was around even this morning, but now it's a little bit juiced, maybe minus 140 or so. That's phenomenal value. I mean, the guy, his line is up because of his last 4 games. He's put up 3, 4, 3, and 10, or excuse me, 2, 12, 7, and 4 assists. So like way above this. But the entire month of January, he averaged 1.9 assists per game. The value's on the under here. He has a career below this on his average 3.1 on the season. Years before this, my thing's not loading, But seasons before this, he has never averaged above 3.5 the last 5 seasons on the Nuggets. So just the under. It's Aaron Gordon under 3.5 assists. Strong lean here.
MHT, is there another Hart? Or I don't understand. Am I missing the Hart? Because I'm only thinking that there's one Hart of notoriety, and he's not playing.
Is there a new trade? Is there a new trade we don't know about?
Yeah, Josh Hart's not playing tonight, buddy. Yeah, so I would definitely take his under PRA. It's a fucking lock. I guarantee you he doesn't hit that. Oh, Hartenstein. Okay. Luke, answer that for me. What do you think?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought Josh Hart right away too.
Well, I saw Hart, and I'm like, wait, take it
we're going Hartenstein under 4.5 or 3.5 assists. I actually don't mind the PRA either. He can just be a really good stat getter on the boards, so that would worry me. Maybe you can get a points assist line. That would be really good value too if you can do points assist combo. So yeah, I'd look at assists or points assists.
I'll defer this one to Shark. Flick him up. Wants to know Joker's PRA over 49.5 be a good pick. I mean, listen, anytime you get Joker at any number, it's a good pick. But go ahead, Shark. Give us your thought.
Yeah, honestly, I did not handicap that, but I will make a comment on this in terms of the total. I do have this graded to be an over. These teams did play back in December in Portland. Similar roster groups. So we're talking about a lot of these teams having totally different rosters. We have some continuity here. The game finished 126 to 124 and 28.5. So books saw that one, moved it up to 231.5. I got to be honest, I actually like the over in this game as the best look, and I think that definitely correlates to Jokic scoring the ball and distributing the ball. Is an overs game for me across the board.
All right, so for me, Denver Nuggets. This is a revenge spot for Denver. Portland did beat the Nuggets in December. That game, of course, was in Portland. This is where Denver, where we want Denver. We have them right in the spot we want them, at home, in altitude. Nuggets have won 5 straight at home, covered all 5 of those games. Denver has also beaten Portland 8 straight at home. Nuggets 17-8 at home, Portland 8-17 on the road. I do think this is a downward spiral time for Portland. They were playing about as good as or hot as any team could play in the NBA, but there is a lot of room for downward, and they don't have the roster, and they don't have the horses, and now you're seeing their injury report take a little bit of a hit. Give me the Nuggets in this spot. I'm going to lay the points. I like the Nuggets a lot here tonight. And guys, hold off on a couple of these questions. What we'll do is we'll come in with a little Q&A afterwards where we'll just answer a couple of your free picks, and I'll defer to props to these guys. And so we'll go through a couple of opinions for you guys. Luke, 1 month, all of Luke's props. This is your last chance to get it. These prices are going up, and you can only get it here. The link is going to be in the comments. The link is also going to be in the description below. How about a little Master of Puppets? Gotta love it. That's right, guys. Link in the description below. We'll also put it in the comments. You can get 1 month of all Luke's props in the NBA. That is in the NBA and college basketball. 1 month of basketball, all of Luke's props. Today only, last day. We're going to have some new promos starting tomorrow. Tomorrow, what we're going to start doing is we're going to run one promo for one of these guys each day. Luke, we'll rotate based upon their cards and who has the bigger card for that day, and we'll go from there. We're going to move on here tonight. We head to Los Angeles now. Here it is, the spot, the game of the night. And of course, it involves the Utah Jazz. Lakers are laying 12.5. The total here is at 233.5. It is the night, man. It's the one we've been waiting for. Luka as a Laker. It happens tonight. The Lakers have been on one lately. You know what? I almost question whether you want to implement them in the lineup with the way they've been playing. But whatever, it's here. LA has now won 5 straight, covered all 5. Lakers have also won 6 straight at home. Also own the Jazz, 5-1 last 6 against Utah at home. Shark, they're messing with continuity. The Lakers have been playing the best I've seen them play probably in about 3 years. But Shark, Would you fuck with that? I mean, and I mean, you got to bring him in. I get it, right? But it's just very difficult to make that change now when they're playing so well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this game, I don't think this was supposed to be on ESPN originally, and this is now a national game. This is the debut of Luka. I think I'm pretty sure he's playing tonight.
No, he's playing.
And,
he's playing. There's no tags on him whatsoever. He's playing.
Okay, because I was following it earlier on the internet. But this is twofold. It's not only Luka's first game with this group, which is going to be a tough integration with LeBron. I mean, there's just not a lot of ball to go around. It's going to just take time. And, we've mentioned this a few times in the past, not so much, I think, this year, but in past seasons. I always go back to when LeBron first signed with the Heat, and it was Bosh and Wade. It took them about 25 games to figure it out. So LeBron is not the type of guy where it's like AD went to the Mavs on Saturday afternoon and it looked like they'd played together for 6 years. This is the type of guy that takes time to integrate. And not only that, you get Dalton Connect back. He was supposed to be traded. Mark Williams fails a physical. So now they bring the guy back. You talk about funky psychology. You trade a guy. You basically say, we don't want you. Now he's back in your locker room. It's Luka. It's Connect. So many moving parts.
I don't disagree with the narrative, but it's not like we're saying we don't want you. We're saying that we have a young player with a bigger upside who plays more into the position of what we need and a role we really need to fill. I don't think it's a personal attack on the dude. I don't think they're just, listen, you suck, get out of here.
Speaking of like a personal attack, the comedy of it, if it was, Dalton Connect actually tied the rookie single game record for 3 points the last time the Lakers hosted the Jazz back in November. He had 9 threes in the game. So he loves playing against the Jazz. I mean, the number is on the Lakers, but really when it comes down to it, I can't get behind the Lakers because I just think this is where LeBron and Luka are going to take time to adjust and figure out how to play ball together. So if I had a free play, I'd lean towards the Jazz. I got to be honest, though. I'm going to turn this on at 10:30 and watch. I'm just intrigued to see how it goes down.
Well, now, okay, so the way I did see this game is, what about a team total over for the Lakers? I know Luka likes to play in a half court and slow it down. I mean, that'd be interesting to see. But I do think with the pace at which LA's been playing, that this can easily get up and over a team total, or maybe even a Jazz team total over, because the one thing that's going to suffer with implementing Luka, we all fucking know it, is going to be that defense. Now, I'd have to see the horses for Utah, but if I'm getting all horses in for Utah, if I'm getting Marketing, I'm getting Clarkson, I think Sexton's probably still out, or he's on the list. No, yeah, Sexton's out, but I'm getting Clarkson, I'm getting Marketing, and I'm getting Collins and Kessler. You know what? This might be a spot for a Utah team total over, because they do score points. They may not win games, but they definitely score points. What do you think, Shark?
No, I have this game graded to be an over, but I do think there's just a lot of moving parts. But I do think Luka's not going to come over here and lock it down like Game 7 defense. And even like if we were going to say Game 7 defense for Luka, I don't know if that exists. No. The guy has never been a defensive player. So I think there's going to be a wide open game. I think it's going to be just a high scoring kind of wild game tonight.
All right, Luke, what about you?
Yeah, I have a spot I like here. And so I think one of the funniest parts about this game is, of course, it's ESPN now. But they thought Luka was going to return Saturday. And so they moved college games, their tip times and their coverages, so that the Lakers could play on ESPN. Luka doesn't play. LeBron doesn't play. It was just funny to me. But tonight,
just imagine this. Just imagine you're ESPN and you're thinking that your schedule's some fucking huge night for basketball. You have the Bucks Warriors coming on, and then you're gonna follow it up with the debut of Luka for the Lakers, and then next thing you know, nobody's playing for the Bucks, nobody's playing for the Warriors, and either Luka or James may sit. Like, what a great job! This is welcome to the modern day NBA.
It's exactly it. It's so brutal at times, but it's just laughable. We have to laugh it off. So anyway, if I was, I know people in the comments will probably ask about Luka props. I'm not going there. There's so much unknown with his minutes and chemistry. Don't touch his props over or under. Where I'm going is John Collins for the Jazz, over 6.5 rebounds. This is an official free play. I love the over here. Collins can go for double-digit rebounds on any given night, and he's in a really good buy low spot here because he's gone under this line in 4 of his 6 games back from injury. But he was slowly increasing his minute share. He wasn't playing full minutes. Finally, last time out, he plays 39 minutes in an overtime game against the Suns. He's going to be a major factor tonight for the Jazz, and he's done well against this Lakers team on the number. He posted 8 and 9 rebounds in the 2 games against LA this season. Now they don't have AD down low. He was accounting for 12 rebounds per night. Collins should have more room to work on the rebounding total. He averages 8.2 per game on the season. I just love this line. It might be my favorite free play. I'm going John Collins over 6.5 rebounds.
All right, so for me, if I'm targeting anything, I'm going to target the Lakers defense and fade the Lakers defense by taking the Jazz team total over. I may look early in that, maybe a first half. I just think, you know what, the biggest or most difficult thing to do when you implement new players, especially high usage players, is get them back in the right spot defensively. Luka already knows what he's going to do when he gets the ball in the hands, right? But more so, what happens when he gets back on the other end of the court? So that would be my best look in this game. What about some best bets? We can get to some best bets. We'll go around the horn, get everybody's best bets. Okay. So I'll start it off. My best bet is going to be the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to lay them 9 to 9.5. I think they fucking clobber Portland in the spot tonight. It's a team that they happen to own, so that will be my best bet for the show. Luke, give me your best bet for the show.
Yeah, so this is kind of funny. I'm going to leave it where I just had it. John Collins over 6.5 rebounds is my best prop. And my backup best bet for fun, if you want a second one, if Brown and Tatum are out. It
has to be difficult. Like, it always just has to be difficult. It can't just ever be fucking easy. So my best-ish. You know what I mean? So does that tell me that your best bet isn't really your best bet because you have another one that might be, you know what? I mean, listen, just make it fucking easy.
They're both best bets, Jay. These are great spots. If Brown and Tatum, the people want more. If Brown and Tatum are out, please take Derek White's
bet.
Please, stop. Please take Derek White's point total over if those two sit. So you get 2 best bets out of me. Can't be easy.
It's never easy. Shark, your best bet for the show?
Yeah, Orlando at -5. It's just a buy low. It's a playoff team. It's a division rival. They played great against this team last year. Heaviest line in a long time. Take Orlando tonight at -5 and let's cash.
All right, let's answer a couple questions. We'll go to a little Q&A. We'll get to 3 to 5 questions, rapid fire real quick.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Gotta love it. That's a fucking classic. Practice? We're talking about practice, man. All right, Burns is going to pick from the chat. You guys have any questions about any games or looks that you guys have that you want some feedback on? No worries. Well, you know what? Drop it in the comments now. Light up the comments. Let's go. Can Portland keep it close early? Probably early. But I think, you know, I mean, it's my best bet. So clearly I don't want to see him keep it close at all. I would think that Denver's going to probably, you know, start and finish, maybe just beat them down. I don't like Portland in this spot. This is a terrible spot for Portland. Shark, you agree?
You know, Denver is a great first quarter team at home. And I think that oftentimes when a team melts late, like they did last game at Minnesota, they actually think to themselves, let's not come out huge and have nothing left. So sometimes game flow reverse in that spot. I think Denver earned the look here for sure.
Shot is under 32.5 points. I mean, I'm assuming that's age is supposed to be a G. SGA, well, that's fine.
Shea.
Under 32.5 points, fade off the Super Weekend. So, Luke, would you fade Ja off of Super Bowl weekend?
Man, his props, I've told you guys this before. It's so hard to take his props because everyone's betting him. So I honestly would stay away here. I know that maybe it's seen as a lame public answer, but I wouldn't bet his prop here. There's no value on either side. In fact, my analytics show it as like exactly on the money at like 32 points. So I'm not touching it. You do what you want with that. My honest answer is not to bet his prop tonight.
I'll add a little bit of knowledge that I do have when it comes to the prop market. And I mean, if you didn't see my Super Bowl props, I may be the real prop master. So I'm just gonna say this. I actually said that to say this. With a guy like SGA, you always have to worry about blowout potential. Right, like that's the biggest thing and the biggest issue when it comes to like these superstars, especially in a game like tonight. You're talking about a line that's that's moving north of 15 points. So there is huge blowout potential. So you're talking about an early exit for an SGA because he's going to be the first off the floor. So I don't like playing the biggest player on the court. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a game where you're assuming or expecting a blowout, and you could definitely expect a blowout. I do like the Thunder in that game. I did say all three spots: first quarter, first half, full game. Next question.
Just one, I'm actually gonna say one last point on that because you hit it on the head. If anything, the under's the value play there. Of course, SGA has scored 30.5 by itself, but the under's the play because of blowout potential, if anything.
All right, Bobby Portis PRA over.
Ooh, that's one for me, ain't it? Because it's Bobby Portis is the Bucks. I love Portis in this game. His lines are all super inflated, which shows good value on the over. He's going to play a ton of minutes. The Bucks shouldn't play Lopez a lot in this game. He's not a great matchup against the Warriors. Warriors play a lot of small ball, as we know. I expect Portis to be on the court for majority of the game, and he's not going to be afraid to shoot. Plus, you get the added value if Dame sits. His lines are even better right now. So, yeah, I'd take over on Portis. I'd co-sign that.
I would actually say, Portis being at 20 and a half is almost an indication that Dame's probably sitting. Next question. Jazz team total or the Lakers Jazz game over? I gave a Jazz team total over. That was my look in that play. Shark, do you want to add to that?
No, I totally agree. It's there's going to be no defense in this game. It's going to be a big showcase national game. Luka's coming out. Utah doesn't play defense. I see the game hitting up 245, something like that.
Yeah, so what we're trying to say is you probably can't go wrong either way. I just don't want to back a team that you're probably going to get an inflated number on the Lakers on their team total and the total itself. So I don't really know what to expect with the two of them together. So I want to back it, the team that has been playing together at least, and we do know the Utah Jazz are going to score. All right, guys, that's it for us today. He's the Shark. He's Luke Shuey. I, of course, am J.A. Cavalier. You can pick up my NBA 3-0 guarantee. Of course, link in the description below. Play that spot. 3-0 NBA guarantee, 1 week, $99, must go 3-0 or the entire season is free. I mean, that's a pretty big fucking, actually, you can only get that here. Everywhere else, I mean, it's the week or the month free. But if you pick that up here in the description, 3-0 or the entire season is free. You can get that here right now. Guys, I cannot talk you off of a Shark Month pass. Absolutely, Nathan. Always worth the buy. I could absolutely not talk you off a Luke's monthly pass. Worth the buy. Matter of fact, don't even buy my package. All good. Buy one of theirs. Buy theirs together. Even better. You know what? Can't go wrong. You put Sharks plays along with Luke's props. Winning combination. Gotta fucking love it. All right, guys. He's the Shark. He's Luke Shuey. I am J.A. Cavalier. This has been NBA Player Performance for Monday, February 10th. We're going to see you guys back here tomorrow as we break down the entire card for the 11th. But guys, remember, always bet with your heads, never above them. If you're going to play, please do so responsibly. Stay within your limits. Set a limit for yourself. Stay within your limits. Bet what you can afford to bet if you're going to bet at all. Nothing is ever a lock. We don't say that word. That word is taboo in these waters. Yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here now. Make it count. Go Birds.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.